The Alpina B3's Biturbo is the marque's take on the 335i. The renowned BMW feddelers have tuned the B3's 3.0-liter, twin-turbocharged six-cylinder engine to produce 395 bhp, almost 90 bhp more than the current 335i, and 398 pounds-feet of torque, a rise of more than 100 pounds-feet. That means that even in convertible form, as driven here and which is some 200 kilograms heavier than the saloon, the B3's will hit 62 miles per hour in 4.9 seconds and go on to an unrestricted 185 miles per hour. However, comparisons will doubtless be drawn with the M3 as often as with the 335i. And it's worth noting that while the B3's is 2 cylinders and 25 bhp down on the V8 engine BMW, it delivers a remarkable 103 pounds-feet more torque, and it isn't restricted by a speed limiter. Chassis-wise, the B3 is way softer than the M3's, and that's an entirely deliberate decision on Alpina's behalf. Apart from Alpina's own, lighter 19-inch wheels and bespoke Michelin Pilot Sport tires, 235/35 at the front, 265/30 at the rear, the B3 is virtually identical to a 335i Sport in setup, and is none the worse for that. Notably, the lack of run flats to give the B3's ride a suppleness and civility that's pretty much unmatched by any 3 Series, without any major sacrifice in body control. The only obvious omission is the absence of any form of limited slip diff from the B3's spec sheet. The B3's open item makes for poor traction on less than perfect surfaces, and rules out the 200-yard power slides you will be able to pull off in the M3 with its awesome EMP diff. Which, you could argue, is a pity, but it's perhaps also a good indicator of the greater maturity of the B3's typical driver. On the road, the B3 feels monumentally quick, even down the shortest straights. And the auto gearbox works perfectly in conjunction with the engine, blipping downshift smoothly and with just the right number of revs when you shift manually, and picking off gears with similar speed and dexterity on the way up. If you want to go slowly in it, you can, and the engine and automatic gearbox combo works beautifully in laid-back mode. But the moment you want to summon end-of-the-universe acceleration, all you do is flatten the throttle and go, cheeks all over flap like a proper time traveler. Criticisms: at 9/10 and above, the B3 can feel a tiny bit soft, and vertical surface undulations can cause it to float a little. But the number of occasions on which you are likely to drive your B3 hard enough on a UK road to uncover this minor flaw would be limited in the extreme, and you'd probably lose your license long before losing your patience with the car's suspension. We'd also like the option of a manual, and we wish the steering was a little lighter at low speeds for urban use. And in drop-top form as tested, it's not a light car, but then neither is a regular 3 Series convertible. We'd be very tempted by a B3's Biturbo, although we'd probably look at the saloon, coupe or estate before we'd buy the heavier drop-top. If you really must have the ultimate 3 Series, then you'll probably still buy an M3. But anyone who hankers after the old 6-cylinder E46 version 6-cylinder rasp, and there are plenty of you out there, we know, should give the B3's a long, hard look.